Today we're going to read the story called The Story of Bat and Sun. The story is from the Beba people of Cameroon, and if we look at the map over here, we can see that Cameroon is in Central Africa. A long time ago, Aleleb the bat and Neneb the sun were best friends. They were closer than heart and lungs, closer than earth and grave. Nearly every morning, one would fly over the ocean to visit the other until it was time for Neneb the sun to start his descent below the horizon, when the two friends would be forced to wait until the next day to see each other again. For Neneb the sun had a duty to the world to rise every morning and set every night, while Aleleb the bat could come and go as he pleased. Besides their sizes, this was the only difference between the best friends. Aleleb and Neneb most enjoyed looking down and marveling at the wondrous world together. Neneb, look in the dense trees of the forest. It's a nest full of newborn sunbirds, and their rainbow-colored mamma is feeding them breakfast, exclaimed Aleleb. Oh, yes, beautiful, replied Neneb, who then pointed with a long ray of sunlight. Now look over there, over the deep, majestic sea. See how the waves crash as if they're dancing just for us? The two soared over the glittering ocean, each sighing at the beauty and the vastness of the seascape. What a sight, Aleleb said, settling his wings and nestling close to his friend as they landed. A sweet sight is always sweeter when shared with a good friend, Neneb replied. One day, after playing all morning with Neneb, Aleleb went home to his cave and found his mother was very sick. How could this have happened? He knew his mother to be stronger than the tallest, most solid tree in the forest. She always took great care and comforted him when he was frightened. She also ruled firmly over the family, doling out punishment and praise when necessary. But now her body was weary. Now she was hurting and could barely even speak. Aleleb had never seen his mother like this before, and he was greatly alarmed. I must get help for her, he resolved. His little wings flew him as quickly as possible from one healer to another. He begged them for their help. Some healers gave his sick mother medicinal herbs to drink. They gave offerings to their ancestors, chanting and pleading with them to heal Aleleb's mother. They did everything they could, but still his mother grew worse. Finally, she said through gasps of breath, My son, there is no more to be done. It seems now my time has come to join our ancestors. Aleleb began to cry, and his mother hushed him. You've been so good to me, my son, and our life together as a family has been all I could have wished for. Do not grieve after I am gone, for I will be happy and safe with our ancestors, and I will always watch over you. She embraced her son as she fell asleep for the last time. Aleleb let out a terrible cry, so loud it must have reached the heavens. He did not know what to do with his grief-stricken heart. Tears streamed from him in torrents as if they could wash away the sadness and the pain. How would he ever live without his mother? But finally Aleleb stopped crying for a moment and decided what he had to do. It was a great honor to be buried on the day of one's death, so he would bury his mother before sunset. It would be tough as it was already late in the afternoon and very close to dusk, but he knew that his best friend, Neneb, would surely help him. Certainly Sun would wait for just a few extra moments before he dipped below the horizon, so Bat could bury his mother before nightfall. After all, the two were closer than heart and lungs, closer than earth and the grave. Aleleb flew up to Neneb and said, Neneb, my beloved mother has just died and joined our ancestors. I am beside myself with sadness, but I know I must honor my mother by burying her while there is still daylight. I beg you, my best friend, for one favor. For this day only, please let your light shine a little longer, so I may commemorate the life and soul of my one and only mother. I must do my duty to her. Neneb darkened. He replied slowly and sadly, Aleleb, my dear friend, I am so sorry about your mother. I cannot imagine such a loss, but it does not work that way. I cannot hang in the sky and wait for you to bury your mother today. I must do my duty too, and bring myself into the shadows at the appropriate time of day. The world depends on me. Aleleb staggered backward as if he had been slapped in the face. His fur rose along the backs of his wings as he bristled at the thought of his best friend abandoning him in his moment of true need. Neneb could not even move one ray of sunlight for him. He would not even try to stretch the day 1 minute longer. How dare you, Aleleb fumed, now devastated for the second time in one day. What kind of friend are you? He flew into the twilight, leaving Neneb to finish the day. With each flap of his wings, Aleleb grew angrier with Neneb and sadder with the thoughts of his mother. It was a dreadful combination of feelings. Aleleb arrived home as darkness crept over the land, and hastily buried his mother. By the time he finished the heavy task, the night was dark already. As expected, he had not been able to honor his mother as he wished, and he bent his small body over his mother's fresh grave. Alelub gave over to sobs once again. He had lost his two best friends in one day, his dear mother and that traitor, Neneb. Alelub raged with grief and anger in his heart. The next morning might as well not have come. For all I care, he thought, I will never look upon Neneb's shining face again. I will never go visit him again, never. And he tucked himself into the darkest corner of his cave. And that is why, from this day forward, bats avoid the sun and only leave their dark caves at night. We're going to be doing a quick write later on this story. So what I'd like you to do now is go onto Google Classroom. I'd like you to open up the quick write. Don't start yet, but I'd like you to click on the document that says Bat and Sun, and I'd like you to reread this myth by yourself, please. Please read silently to yourself. Thank you.